definitely started losing weight when I learned about these simple steps, and if you want great results for your weight loss before 2025, then you need to follow these tips. Hello and good morning and welcome back to my channel. I'm naturally Ray, or you can just call me Ray. Now, if you know you watch my videos back to back to back to back and have not subscribed, why not? Make sure you subscribe and hit your notification bell so you don't miss when I upload future vlogs and videos where I talk about health, fitness and lifestyle. So I'm at the beginning of my 75-day challenge, and no, this is not the 75 hard challenge or 75 medium challenge. It is nothing restrictive. We're just using the 75 days leading up to January 1st 2025, so that by the time New Year's reach, you're not rushing to get New Year's resolutions and New Year's goals, new year, new me. We're basically just developing healthy routines and healthy habits so that at the beginning of the year it's already implemented into our routines, and we will be way ahead of a lot of people in 2025. But I'm giving you all some tips and some easy steps that can help you on your weight loss journey. I really wish that I knew about these steps, because they are key when it comes to your weight loss and even your fitness and just generally getting healthy. One of the first things that I want to talk about is protein. Protein. Everybody knows that protein is important to help with repair and recovery and growth, and of course for building muscle, which we will get into soon. But the reality is a lot of persons, and I actually would say the majority of persons, do not eat enough protein. And if you're on a weight loss journey, you need to prioritize your protein. I've said this time and time again. Now here's the thing, you may say to yourself, well, I eat chicken, I eat fish, I eat salmon, I eat beef, turkey, eggs, whatever it is, tofu, peas and beans, but most people are way under the recommended daily amounts, which is actually 0.8 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of your ideal body weight. And I know that sounds like what, but basically for me, my ideal body weight is 120 pounds, which means that I try to aim at getting between 100 to 120 grams of protein every single day. And I know that may seem like a lot, but it's really easy to get. All you have to do is just consider getting maybe about 30 grams of protein for your main meals throughout the day. So for breakfast, lunch, dinner, have 30 grams of protein. That's easily about 90 grams right there, so I'm almost at 100. And then for your snack, you can have maybe a smoothie, a protein shake, or you can maybe have like a protein bar or just some type of protein snack, making up maybe 10, 15 or maybe even 20 grams of protein. Now here's the thing, when it comes to these snacks and protein bars, a lot of persons, especially those who manufacture these products, they tend to be a little deceptive, and on the outside of their packages they may say this is a high protein meal, but when it is you look at the back, it's actually not a lot of protein. I actually showed y'all in a video a couple weeks ago or maybe a couple months ago how to identify if a product is really high in protein, so I'm going to show you all that right now. So this is a container of my feta cheese to show you all if a particular product is high in protein. So you want to look at the calories per serving, which in this case is 70, and then you compare it to the amount of grams of protein, which is 6. So you add a 0 to the amount of protein that you have, and in this case it would be 60, and when you compare it to 70, those numbers are pretty close together. So this particular product is a high protein to calorie ratio. Now what will make this even better, if the protein was maybe 12 grams and you add a 0 to it, it will be 120 grams of protein compared to the calories per serving 70. And once that protein is way above this particular number, then that will be a really good high protein to calorie ratio. On the other hand, if for example this particular container had 3 grams of protein, when you add a 0 to it, it will make it 30 grams in comparison to 70. and 30 obviously is way less than 70, definitely less than half. So if, for example, this container had only 3 grams of protein, this would not be a good product to say that it is high in protein to your calorie ratio. So again, you want to make sure that you're looking at the nutrition facts so that you will know if you're actually eating a product that is high in protein. And if it isn't, but you just really enjoy that particular snack, have the snack. But again, try to get your daily recommended amount of protein every single day. The thing with protein, it really helps to keep you full, it helps to keep you satiated, and when you're a weight loss journey, you don't want to be hungry every single time. You don't want to be consuming a lot of calories all the time. So when you have your protein and you eat enough of it, it really helps to keep you fuller for much longer. And as I mentioned before, protein is very important when it comes to building your muscle, which is key when it comes to your weight loss. At the beginning of my weight loss journey, I focused a little more on cardio, and yes, cardio is very important for your cardiovascular health, but when it is you're really thinking about losing weight, you really need to do strength training and resistance training, and of course progressively overloading, which basically means that over time you increase the amount of weight or maybe increase the reps or sets. Now you don't want to do like so many reps. For example, you have, if you're starting off your journey, you have a 8-pound, 10-pound, and you're doing 20, 30 different reps, and it's really easy for you to do. That is not progressively overloaded. You want to make sure that you have heavy enough weight so that you get that stimulus to actually build that muscle, because when it is you build that muscle, you increase your BMR, and when it is you increase your basal metabolic rate, it really helps you to burn that excess calories, burn that excess fat. Is really important. I know I talk about my non-negotiables for my 75-day challenge, that I want to do strength and resistance training at least 3 times a day. Not a day, what? 3 times a week, 3 times a day, y'all. I will be very honest. Right now, 3 days a week is very challenging for me. I thought that it would have been really easy. Okay, let me not lie, not really easy, but I thought it would have been something that was realistic and sustainable, because again, with all of these tips and all of these steps, you need to make sure that they're realistic. You need to make sure that they're sustainable with whatever dietary choices you make and whatever systems you put in place and routines you put in place, because this is a lifestyle, it's a journey to get where you want to go, but then you have to maintain it afterwards. But I would say try your best, like try your very best to at least get those 3 days in. It has been challenging. I told myself that I would do 30 minutes of the strength or resistance training, and y'all, so far, yes, I'm getting good results with my weight loss, but the reality is I'm struggling a little bit to actually get to 30 minutes. And listen, if you are a gym rat, you might be thinking, what do you mean you can't work out for 30 minutes? It's only 30 minutes, but whew, it's a struggle. All right, let me not say I'm struggling. It's challenging. I know I can do it, but I know I have to pace myself. And if you're at the beginning of your weight loss journey, or maybe you're on this journey for a while, and strength training and resistance training is a little challenging as well, don't give up hope. Stay consistent, stay disciplined. You will get there. We would get there. I would get there. But you really want to give your body that stimulus so that you can burn that muscle, because when you have that increased BMR, you can burn a lot more calories even when you are at rest. And while it is important to increase that BMR, you also want to consider increasing your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. More than likely, I'll maybe put up a little chart just showing the proportions, because a lot of people, they tend to focus so much on going to the gym and exercising and burning all these calories, but the majority of the calories that you burn will be from your basal metabolic rate, and then you need the thermal effect of food, which by the way will be another great reason why you want to make sure that you're eating enough protein, because that has one of the highest thermal effects of food. It takes up a little bit of the percentage, but definitely something to consider, because when you're on this weight loss journey, you're trying to do all the different things that will help you to burn these calories and make sure that you're not consuming more than you're burning on a day-to-day basis. We will get to that soon, because at the end of the day, it is an energy balance equation and you cannot lose weight unless you're in a calorie deficit. Again, we will get to that soon. But basically, with your NEAT, why you want to increase your NEAT, that's just like your daily movements. You're moving up your hands, you're typing, you're walking, you're running different errands, whatever activities you're doing, not specifically exercise in the gym. That actually takes up a bigger proportion of the chart than actual exercise at the gym. And that's why a lot of people talk about making sure that you increase your step count, and the arbitrary 10,000 steps. I mentioned to you all that really and truly you do not need to reach 10,000 steps. Of course, it is a really good goal, but even if you get to 8,000, 8,500, that's really good for your daily step count. And I know that may seem like a lot, but if it is that you say after your main meals you walk for maybe just about 10-20 minutes or so, I would say maybe 15 to 20 minutes, that will make up like an hour or maybe a little more than an hour for the entire day. And the thing with walking is like such a low barrier to entry. It's something that is comfortable for most people. People will not have issues with exercising, unless it is you have some issues with your mobility. But for the most part, it's low impact on your bone, low impact on your joints. It's something easy to do. You don't need any special equipment. You don't need to go to the gym. Just get some good comfortable shoes and you just walk, and you don't need to spend a whole hour walking straight. Some people, yeah, they will do that on a day-to-day basis if they have the time to do it, but you can just spend 15-20 minutes after you eat a meal. And why I say after you eat a meal is really good for your digestion as well, so that's something to consider. And it also helps with balancing out your blood sugar levels and all of that. But it really helps you out when it comes to losing fat. Walking is one of the key things you can do if you are wanting to lose that extra body fat. I can testify. Of course, like I mentioned, being in a calorie deficit is important, which we will talk about soon, but walking really helps out a lot, and you don't feel as though it's like a burden for you. At least for me, sometimes I just put on some music, watch a YouTube video for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, listen to a podcast. Sometimes podcasts are like really long, so you might end up walking for even much longer, and it's something that is really easy. I think it's something that is sustainable for most people to keep up with, and you get really great results from it. Now, I know if you're watching this video, you're more than likely on a weight loss journey, health journey, fitness journey. You want to become the best version of yourself, and I know that you know the difference between junk food and healthy foods. You know, the junk foods, the fries, the burgers, the pizzas, the cakes, the donuts, all of those things are obviously not healthy for you. Balance is key, which I always talk about, my 80-20 rule. We will talk about that when we talk about calories. But I know that sometimes persons, they don't really know how to identify ultra processed foods, which is something that when it is you're on your weight loss journey, you need to drastically reduce. And it goes back to what I was mentioning about knowing what is on in your ingredients and looking at the labels, because again, these companies, these brands, they tend to market products as heart healthy and good for you, but the reality is it's very deceptive. It's very, very deceptive. I want you to be very mindful of the ingredients in some of these healthy foods, because if it is that you look at the ingredients and you see all these added gums and seed oils and artificial flavorings and natural flavorings, get a good idea as to maybe like 5, 10, 15 things that you know are not healthy stuff that should not be in food, and just look out for it. Listen, by the time it is you look at 2, 3, 4, 5 packages, you will realize that a lot of these things that you think, oh no, this is a healthy snack, it's not healthy at all. And yes, there are times where if you feel like eating the Oreo, eat the Oreo, okay? I don't want you to be too restrictive when it comes to your weight loss journey, because again, we want things that are sustainable, but at the same time, you don't want to deceive yourself thinking that you're consuming things that are healthy and it's not good for your body at all. You really want to make sure that you're having a really good balance. Like I mentioned, the 80-20 rule: 80% of the time you eat whole unprocessed foods or minimally processed foods, and then 20% you indulge in your different treats and whatever you want. Obviously, you don't want to overdo it when you're eating your 20%, because you don't want to cancel out all the progress that you made by eating your healthy foods. Say for example, throughout the week, Monday to Friday, you eat generally healthy foods, and then on the weekend you don't want to go overboard and overconsume, because you will not see results. If you know, time and time again, months and months have passed, y'all, we have maybe about 65 days, I think, again, before New Year's. And by the way, yes, I did mention that I started my 75-day challenge, and whenever you see this video, whether it's 30 days before the new year, whether it's 50 days before the new year, or maybe you're watching this in 2025, it doesn't matter when you see this video or any of these videos that will help to encourage you. You can start your weight loss journey whenever you see this video. I have done videos where I did 30-day challenges that helped me to lose 10 pounds in 1 month, just from being very consistent and being disciplined and sticking to non-negotiables. Nothing that was too restrictive, just sticking to healthy habits and healthy routines. And it's something that you can also do as well. Now, I did mention counting calories before, because at the end of the day, if you're really on this weight loss journey, it is something that you have to consider. I always talk about making sure that you measure certain things, because if you don't measure it and you don't track it, you cannot improve on it. And I know counting calories may not be the best for everyone. Maybe it can be triggering for you, but what I can say is that if you've never tried it before, at least do it for maybe 7 days or maybe 2 weeks. Because here's the thing, if you're really not seeing progress with whatever routines you're putting in place and whatever dietary choices that you're making, the first thing to look at is what you are consuming, because there's a high likelihood you may be over consuming more than you are burning. And download the MyFitnessPal app or whatever different apps there are, and just calculate, put in what it is you eat on a daily basis. Don't try to switch up because you're putting something in. No, like whatever it is that you usually eat, just put it into the app and calculate it, so you can actually know how much you are consuming, because it's important to measure the things that you want to manage so that you can track your progress over time. It does not have to be something that you do for weeks and weeks or months and months. This is just to give you a general idea as to what you are consuming, and just do a little deficit, whether it's 200 calories, 300 calories, 500 calories. Obviously, you don't want to go too low, and do that for a couple of weeks. Now, if you're really not seeing any progress there, then implement some other changes. Obviously, I'm talking about all of these points, so we're looking at eating healthier. When it is, like I mentioned, you eat proteins, you feel fuller for longer, you stay away from the ultra processed foods, because those foods, they are very hyper palatable. It makes you want to eat a lot more, and they're not satisfying because it doesn't have sufficient protein, it doesn't have enough fiber, which is key. When you're trying to lose weight, make sure you increase in the amount of fiber that you consume. When it is you don't have enough protein, you don't have enough fiber, you don't have the essential macronutrients and micronutrients and vitamins, you have issues with your gut. So just make sure that you're paying a little more attention to what you're putting into your body. Now, I didn't have these two things specifically on my list today, but I thought they would be honorable mentions, because when I do videos talking about my non-negotiables and healthy habits, I always mention these, and I felt that it needed to be said. But make sure that you're drinking sufficient water every single day. No, it does not need to be a gallon. Work out how much water you need to drink for your height and your weight. It may be around 80 ounces. That is the amount that I need to drink to stay hydrated throughout the day. If you need to take electrolytes, make sure you take your electrolytes as well, but make sure you're getting your water so that your body can function optimally And also make sure that you're getting good quality sleep. That is so key. Listen, water, drinking optimal amounts of water, getting good quality sleep, at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep, it actually shows scientifically that it helps you to lose that body fat. And you don't need to say anything more to me when it comes to that. Of course, there are other bodily functions when it comes to water. Just help. Your body is made up of mostly water, so of course you need it for your cells and your organs to function properly. And of course with sleep, it helps with cellular repair and rejuvenation and regeneration and healing and recovery. So in combination with all of these other steps, it really helps you out with having a healthy body, metabolically healthy, and of course losing that body fat as well. Now what I can say is that when I started implementing a lot of these steps and tips into my routines and actually being consistent and disciplined with it, I had this like all or nothing mindset. So for example, if on one particular day I said, okay, this is a day where I'm mainly eating, minimally processed foods, I'm not trying to have any type of treat meals today, and for some reason lunchtime comes around and I decide, let me have some burger, let me have some pizza, and then I'll be like, okay, well, the day is ruined, so let me go and eat like some ice cream, or maybe for dinner I don't decide to stick to my minimally processed foods. I decide, oh, now I will eat whatever I want. Or maybe when it came to like exercising, and I know that my days for exercising are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and maybe on a Wednesday I didn't wake up early enough, or I just decided I'm not gonna exercise and I do absolutely nothing. I really had this all or nothing mindset, and I realized that here's what, there may be times, life be life, and as they say, but there may be times where your lunchtime will come about, your co-workers, they may buy some fast foods and you may eat from it, but don't feel as though the entire day is ruined. You don't have to feel guilty, you don't have to feel ashamed, because at the end of the day you should still try to factor in treat meals within your week. It may not have been the Wednesday that you were trying to factor it in, but that cannot derail you, or it should not derail you from making progress in the long run. That's just one particular day at one particular week. But if it is that you're doing that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then that is a whole different situation that we're talking about. But I don't want you to feel like you have to adopt an all or nothing mindset. Even when it comes to exercising, if it is that you wake up in the morning and maybe you wake up a little later, or maybe you're just not feeling 100%, maybe just do a 10-minute stretch, or maybe a 15-minute workout. And I'm telling you, just the endorphins that you get from working out and actually completing a lot of your tasks that you were supposed to do on a daily basis or weekly basis, and you get that dopamine hit, it really does help you to stay a little more motivated and a little more encouraged to keep up with the systems that you put in place. So this particular advice may seem a little counterintuitive, but when it comes to exercise, I also do want to point out that if for any reason you really don't want to exercise on a particular day where you were scheduled to exercise, it is still okay not to exercise that particular day. Don't feel as though you have to at least still do a 10-minute stretch or a 15-minute workout. If you really don't want to do it, just don't do it. As you say, listen to your body. Maybe your body really needs to get that rest, but do not feel guilty about it. That one day cannot or should not throw you off. Now here's the thing, if it is that you have issues, I don't want to use the word issues, if it is that it's very challenging for you and you realize you're not sticking to your routines week after week, then I would say no. Try to at least get a little 10-minute, 15-minute here and there. But if it happens just once in a while, it's not something that you do consistently, give yourself the rest that your body may actually need to recover, to rejuvenate, to repair, And then more than likely, when it is you're ready to exercise the following day or maybe 2 days after, you can give it 100% and maybe get gains more than you would have when you struggle to maybe try and do it when your body just was not working optimally. Because at the end of the day, we're looking for progress over perfection to become the healthiest and best version of ourselves.